Welcome everyone to episode 147 of Tattoo Collecting 101, right here on Guy Atchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Network, the community for tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and all those who are curious about the world of tattooing. We encourage everyone to join these live streams and real-world events as we aim to educate and inspire one another to create better artwork, tattoos, and to leave the community a better place than how we found it. We stream out most days of the week, so be sure to check out the full schedule of events we have going on, as well as our professional development courses from over 20 world-class tattoo artists at reinventingthetattoo.com. You can also find these shows on our Roku channel, as well as your favorite podcast platforms. So search for Reinventing the Tattoo and you'll find us on there. Real quick, just want to say thank you to the sponsors who make it all possible. So thank you to World Tattoo Events, which has the largest, most comprehensive resource and list of tattoo conventions going on in the world right now, as well as Tattoo Now, technology for tattooers. They're the leading edge in professional development, management, and digital tools for tattooers of all levels, as well as our affiliates at the Fireside Tattoo Network and the Apprenticeship Diaries. And lastly, we want to say thank you to Guy Atchison, who makes it all possible. He's the founder and inspiration behind the Reinventing the Tattoo community. You can go to guyatchison.com to get your copy of the Biomech Encyclopedia, instructional DVDs, original oil paintings, and custom coil machines. And if you're enjoying the knowledge we're putting out, be sure to share it with a friend and to watch another video.
Nice job, Kyle.
And here we are, back again.
You did a good job staying on track, even when I got up and was like fiddling around with the camera. Good job.
Thanks.
Good job. So today we were supposed to have Harley Rose on, and she's a fellow tattooer and shop owner here in Ohio. But she had some extenuating circumstances, so we will reschedule. But I'm pretty excited to talk to her because she's got a pretty decent little following, and she makes some really rad reels. Like, I love her reels and TikToks. I feel like they're kind of one and the same, but she makes some really cool content, and I always like either giggle at it or like full-heartedly agree with it. So I've actually been excited to talk to her because I don't know her in person, but I just like the content she makes.
Yeah.
So, other than that, we have Jiminy Peak coverage. I've got some on my camera. I've also got some stuff that I took on my phone that I sent over to the Instagram that I'm pretty excited to share. I'm pretty excited to talk about the event. You didn't go this year, but you went a few years ago. So we can talk a little bit about like basically the overall theme of Paradise versus, other tattoo events that we're really familiar with and we share a lot about. But before we jump into that, what has Kyle been up to?
Full-time tattoo artist is where we're at now.
Nice.
Yeah.
What projects have you worked on so far?
I've done 3. I did one on myself. Here also, I came prepared.
You came prepared, Kyle. That's wonderful.
It's almost like I knew you were going to do this.
Yep. Put you on the spot. Oh, this is what the design that your sticker is, right?
Yes.
Is this on you?
Yes.
Nice.
And then that's like as of half an hour ago. If it'll let me pull it up.
Did you not make yourself the
I did. It's just
admin?
Like freezing and crashing.
Zoom is, or my computer is?
Zoom.
I was gonna say, do I need to restart it? I haven't asked anything questionable of it.
Oh, here we go. Almost.
I should send the piece that I just started. I just finished a piece this week and I started a new one yesterday. I should send those in real quick.
So here's the first one I did. Little tooth monster on me. It's one of my flash designs. That's it currently, like in its healing state, starting to get a little flaky now.
Yep, that black's going to be nice and silky though when it's call it crunchy right now. Not necessarily that it's scabby, but it's just dry and crunchy.
Yeah, I took off the tattoo shield like 2 days ago, and so I'm like starting to slowly watch it like get a bit smoother and come into full play.
So I got to see, I don't know if it's the one you're going to show next, but I got to see the piece you started on Devin.
I am going to pull that one up as well.
Now, are you going to go in with color on that one on you?
Yes.
Okay. And then this one on Devin also is not complete, correct?
Correct. work in progress. And then I've got Devin scheduled for the next one already, so we're gonna get rolling on that once the time comes.
Is that one of the psycho clowns that you were doing down there?
Which one?
The one on Devin. Was that a hand coming forward?
No, this is a Pokemon design.
Okay, I was just making sure it wasn't a Juggalo design.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
Yeah, we did this Pokemon design of like Cyndaquil and Squirtle kind of shooting fire and water at each other. So I got a little bit of the shading started there, and then the line work to
Okay,
just kind of lay it all in.
nice.
Yeah.
And then show us what number 3 is.
Number 3, pulling it up. I sent the wrong angle, so it's a majority of it. A little bit, but it's cut off. Cat name mystery, little script.
If that's a cat's name.
It is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Okay.
But I sent the wrong photo here, so part of it's a little cut off. But yeah, those are the 3 projects I've done so far as an official tattoo artist now, and I got a couple more coming up.
Nice.
This
Good.
week.
So how is it's a little bit different once you actually like jump in the like boat and you start like really considering pushing yourself for the sake of like not just people seeing it, but people actually engaging, and if not hitting you up, showing it to other people. Have you started doing any like you know, on the feet campaigns? Have you gone out and started handing flyers out or anything yet?
I do a little bit of it while I'm door dashing.
Okay.
On the weekends, I have like I just got those stickers made. I got business cards printed yesterday, so I have those on me now to just kind of hand out to people. Because
Nice.
I've encountered a couple people before that are like, I like your look, or like style, or like I like the tattoos. It's like, well, I do tattoos.
There you go.
So,
That's the way to do
yeah.
it too. Because if you're like, for instance, your sleeve is bright and colorful enough that like it catches people's attention. That like just having the business card in your back pocket ready to go, or having the sticker with your Instagram logo on it it gives people a way to reach back out to you. Because sometimes people aren't going to like log in your name. They're not going to log in your information if you tell them, and sometimes if you like, even if you pull somebody's phone out and you like show them your Instagram and you follow them from their account, or you follow yourself from their account, they're not going to remember.
Right.
They're going to have like hundreds, if not thousands of people that they follow. So they're not going to like remember until you like happen to make a post. And then are they even going to connect the dots that it's you? So it's crazy because we live in a very like hashtag oriented society, and like working on getting your follows up and like having thousands of people like you or follow you. That's it's kind of like it's a funny thing because it's become such an important it's become an important part of tattoo culture. Like so many tattooers are gung-ho about how many followers they have versus how many followers somebody else has. But like you and I both know that you can buy followers.
Yeah.
Like
I've never been one to care
it's
about
like
followers, but it
$5.99
definitely,
for
like, it
thousands of
helps.
followers.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does kind of like make somebody look legitimate to have somewhat of a following, but
Yeah, in the digital age, it's kind of like
having a
new
following
business card almost.
yeah, having a following doesn't necessarily equal having clients.
Right.
That's the point that I'm always trying to make, is like you can have a huge following and still be broke because all the people following you are on the other side of the country. You know what I mean? Like you could have just gone viral in an area because a few certain friends liked your post and it blew up, but it's 12 miles away from, or 12 hours away from where you live.
Yeah.
So it's a funny thing. Like, yeah, it's important to have an online presence and to like come off as professional, but I think it's really important to like use your Instagram as like a living, evolving portfolio. Like
that's how I've been using it the whole time, and like still trying to now. But yeah.
You've got, I mean,
difficult game.
You've got post after post after post of like painting that you're working on,
I post like
you're
once
working
every
on,
like 4 days
exercises.
because
Yeah.
it's like I like out of everything that I've done throughout, because I've started my Instagram around the time I like got serious about my art career and everything.
Mhm.
So like 90 to 95% of the work I've ever made has been on my Instagram. Because I just like I've never had a backlog of it. So I just have to
That's pretty
space it
awesome.
out a bit.
There was definitely a period of time in my career where I did post almost every day, even if it wasn't a finished product.
Mhm.
I like to post what I had been working on. Like I felt like, I felt like people were actually interested in like having that window into what I'm working on.
Yeah.
But that was also like 6, 7, 8 years ago that I would post every single day. Now I like joke around that I only post often enough for people to know I'm alive.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I just feel like,
Once in a blue moon.
yeah, I used to post what I was doing every day, even if it wasn't a finished project, where now I want to wait and I want to like put together like nice, well shot,
Right.
finished photos and then like a reel for each project.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like my projects, I'm getting good enough at like cataloging the progress as I go. I just don't necessarily share it. So
Yeah.
like
Well, I think to that point you were making earlier too, like part of it is like when it comes to like the social media age, like, you go on someone's profile and you're going to see like the first 6 or 9 posts, and not 99% of people aren't going to look past that.
Mhm.
So it's really like what's on top there is what you're seen as,
Yeah, when I'm really into a tattoo, like let's say that first 6 or 9 posts
Mhm.
really gets my attention. That's when I scroll back. But the thing that I like about my page and the thing that is becoming true about your page is if you scroll back, it's really like a timeline and you can,
That's
you
kind of
know,
how I always viewed it, and I love it now because I get to just like scroll back and like even if I scroll for like 5 seconds, I'm suddenly
yeah,
like a year and a half back.
yeah, you can scroll like 10 years back into my tattoo history and you can see the stuff I was doing like 10 and 11 years ago. You can see like the more simple, like I was still proud of it and my clients that wear it are still proud of it, but this stuff was much simpler.
Mhm.
I see like little glimpses of the stuff that I do now in it, but it's kind of cool to see how like the evolution of my freehand style has grown. The way I do a lot of the same things and I do things the same or a similar way, but to see how much more I'm able to accomplish, or like the dynamic color shifts and
Right.
things like that. Like um it's like you can just see me leveling up on myself if you scroll far enough back. And I feel like your paintings are a wonderful example of that. You're still very early into tattooing, but like if you share your growth and improvement and like you stepping into your style the same way, it's going to be a really neat way for people to kind of like have a cool window into your life and how hard you're working to be good at this. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I think to speak to that too, a lot of like what you don't necessarily also see is like the timeline of like yes, we do see like example on you could scroll back 10 years, but like you know what I mean? You look at like the day of it's all posted and like you don't know how close together it is or how
Mhm.
spread apart it is.
Yeah, I actually post so infrequently now that like I think if you go like 9 posts back, we're a year ago, because I just
Right.
did Chalk Fest and I realized like my Chalk Fest stuff from last year isn't that far down my
Yeah.
feed. Maybe I should post a little more often.
If you double.
But I interact with the story, like
Okay.
the disappearing story. I interact with that a lot. So maybe
Well, it's
that's
like
how it
almost like two
shifted for me.
completely different like
It's almost like
versions of
that's
the
the
same app.
feed of the people you want to like see quick glimpses,
Yeah.
and then like the permanent photos are the living portfolio, like the revolving, growing
That's kind of how I
portfolio.
see it. Is like the story is like the day to day, like what
That's
you're
a good
doing,
way to
what you're
think of
up
it.
to.
Now that Jazz goes through the studio and gets like photos of us working and videos of us working, I just like reshare what she captures. I don't even really like I do always reshare it, but I don't always stop and take the time to make my own video. And I
Right.
could. I've got all the stuff, but the thing is I get so into like the tattoo that I'm making that like I kind of don't want to distract myself. Like
That's how I've been feeling with it so far. Is it's like in the back of my head, it's like I should like record some of this to make a reel or something to have content, but it's like I'm so focused on trying to do a good job here and like make sure I'm understanding what I'm doing that it's like the last thing on my mind.
and like we're both pretty tech savvy. It's not like it drains too much of our brain at this
Mhm.
point, but it's almost like it's almost like when I'm actually one-on-one with my client, like, I stroll in like whatever time of the day that my client and I have scheduled, but I stroll in, my client and I settle. If they smoke, we smoke together. If they don't smoke, they hang out with me while I'm smoking. And that's where we get a lot of our chit chat in. And then once I like go back up to my room and I'm working, you see how I'm like, for being a like sloppy stoner, I'm like laser focused.
Yeah.
Once like I'll get baked with my client and then go back up and like start working, and then it's just like whew, exactly in the zone of the thing that we've been brainstorming about and meditating on while we're smoking. And but yesterday the piece that I started is one of those pieces where like I knew before we even got into it, just because of the way the design came together at our consultation, I knew it was going to be one of those pieces where it just kind of like unfolds on its own. Like there are some projects that where I have to like concentrate really hard and like make sure I've got all the details exactly where they go and the flow is right. And, I've got to be attentive to the client, all the things. And then there are days where it just like comes through me, like I'm channeling something else, like almost like I'm a conduit for another thing. So it's crazy to be at the end of the day and like incredibly proud of what I've done, but also like I didn't just do that. Like, yes, I was holding the machine, but that totally came from somewhere
There was
else.
something else guiding it.
Yeah, that came from somewhere else, or this is coming from somewhere else. So those days are cool for me because those are like the reminders that this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And this is how I'm supposed to interact with people. And like, it just reminds me that I am supposed to bring these ideas to life because like we brainstormed them up, like whether it was just my client's idea or my idea or a combination, we dreamed these ideas up. And once it's dreamt up, it's almost like it's already a thing. It's almost like all I got to do is like just chip the layers away and just like go through the process of making it happen. But like the brain work has already been done, the think work is already done. It's just a matter of like putting it there and like letting the thing reveal itself. It's pretty crazy. Like, I don't know. It's been a while since I've started a batch of new projects, and these new projects that I have on my books are all kind of like next level. Do you want to see?
Yes.
Do you want to pull it up on Instagram?
Did you send it over?
Yep.
Okay, let's get them.
Yep, we'll pull these up and then we'll pull up the Jiminy Peak footage and we'll just start kind of talking over that.
Whoa, I saw you getting started on this, but like
Got
very early.
crazy. There's a picture and then there's a little video too.
Bum, bum,
You guys are going to be mind blown when you see this. And this is just the first session. When we had our consultation, I was like, I don't know how many sessions to tell you this is going to take because I got to see how well you'll sit and all the things. But we got so far last night, I was like, we'll finish this next session, but this will not be a challenge to finish up. So I'm pretty stinking excited about it. Look at that thing.
It's crazy.
So, I mean, clearly we still have more of the night sky to do and more like twinkly stars throughout the whole thing, but like that's a lot for a single session. And this is not like a tiny person. He's like average size.
Yeah, average size arm.
Yeah. Like I'm kind of blown away how far we got. But like I said,
Yeah, I
that
thought
well.
it's just like marker and stencil drawing, and then you showed me like the references. But yeah, this is looking great.
Jess was pretty excited because she said she hadn't seen me do a skull. I've done a lot of skulls.
You know, I saw that skull sitting there. I was like, surely this is for Brandon, right?
It's me. Look at that colorful little guy. And actually, I couldn't even find the right angle for the skull because I wanted it to be tilted up just a little bit as if the eyes were looking up. Because obviously, we've got this icosahedron and this whole energy form kind of like beaming through it. So I didn't want it looking down. I didn't want it to like have a strong brow ridge. So fortunately, I've got that skull that I keep on the windowsill, that full size human skull. It's only like a $40 skull. It's not even like super duper anatomical, but it's like the basic shapes. Like,
Don't have to work off.
yeah, like if you get in close, like some of the shapes and ridges around the gums and teeth aren't quite the most accurate, but like it's great. So I took this photo I played with the exposure on it, so we like could knock the background back and like bring everything forward that we needed. But it was just really handy. It was after, looking for a reference online a couple of times. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take a photo of the one I have, because I just had the specific view of the skull just slightly tilted up, not like the whole underside, but just like slightly up.
When I'm looking for like something really specific like that, I try to search for like a 3D model of it,
Mhm.
one that like has, because a lot of them are like paid, but they usually have like a preview that you can kind of drag and spin around. So I try to find one of those where I can like pinpoint to the right angle I'm looking for.
Yep, it is kind of handy to have all these like poser apps and like the
Mhm.
3D apps like handy, and where you can like just pose hands and body parts in different ways and manipulate them, and then you can light them.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. M- pretty pretty spoiled to live in this day and age where we have virtual 3D
Yeah, I
models
can
like
just
that.
Google like horse 3D model and get it like any pose I need.
Mhm. Do you want it galloping or do you want it in a full canter?
Mid gallop or post gallop, Where do you want to swing the leg to?
You want to pull up this picture or this video of Adam's back too? Is that too
Yes.
crazy? Oh, pull up the video of that one first and then the video of Adam. If that's not too weird. Will it play? Will it do the thing? Maybe not. You can just do Adam's. It's fine.
Oh, there we go. Bing.
Oh, we were listening to the X-Files.
Ah,
Music in the background. I felt like it was appropriate. But yeah, look at that thing. That's not even black and gray. It's like blues and warm glows and lavenders, and I'm pretty pleased with it. The teeth came out pretty shiny.
very
Okay,
nice.
you want to jump to that video of Adam's back? I'm really proud of this, and I know Adam's really proud of it. I feel like
Are you
we
guys
just
officially done with it?
yeah, we're officially finished. I feel like we just started this like 6 months ago.
It started not that long ago. I remember like his bare back.
Yeah, my back did not go that fast, and Russ and I were diligent on it. But man, he sits so good.
Mhm.
You see the arm that I did on him before his back. He's got a little bit of armpit that's not tatted yet, but we'll get there. He's also getting a leg sleeve of a Pokemon, a traditional Japanese Pokemon leg sleeve
Yes.
from Derb, and then a Robo Biomech sleeve, leg sleeve from Adam.
Which are like both 90% of the way done.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I think both of those are going to come up onto the booty cheeks. So he's really got one arm left and the front of his torso.
Yeah.
And he didn't start getting tattooed that long ago.
Oh, he's been cruising through it.
That's
And the time that I've
crazy.
been here, the whole arm was not there, the whole back piece was not there, half the leg was there.
You know, one of the things I got to point out about this piece that's really kind of cool, all the landscape is outlined in purple. It's not black. So I just like the illustrations we were working from. I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and do this in purple. So it made the line work take a little bit longer, but Adam was game for it. And yeah. Pretty crazy.
Very nice.
Yep. Do you want to scroll up and show some of the photos from Jiminy Peak while we're in this little area?
Yeah.
So I've got just the quick photos and videos that I took just walking around. This was on top of the mountain. I actually rode the chairlift up.
Okay.
Oh, there's Lolo. She's joining us for a minute. Sorry for the heavy breathing, everybody. I think I missed one of the collaborative pieces. I thought I had all three, but it looks like I got a duplicate in there. You know, I usually take over the collaborative charcoal stuff. Like usually I'm like, oh man, this is never going to get finished. Somebody's got to put black where black belongs. And I just like fill in large spaces. And like, it's funny to see people like hold their breath just because like I'll be covering grounds quickly, but I'm not like being disrespectful. I'm not like scribbling things away. I'm actually just covering ground.
Yeah.
But
filling
there's
it in.
always like I sense it from the other artists who have worked hard on the projects when they like hold their breath as I'm just like blasting through some of these art fusion projects. So it's sideways, but this is actually a landscape. It's all three of them started out as bio, and then Gunnar went through and was like, nope, this one's going to be a landscape. Come on, Lolo, come over here, lay down.
She likes landscape.
Jason Leeser, I believe Jason Leeser has these, but he was photographing them to make prints. So I don't know what's going to come of those, but Jason's a printmaking fool. So
I heard that they'll be for sale on the Paradise Gathering website.
nice. See, you hear different gossips than I do.
It's
not really gossip.
No, it's all public information.
Yeah, it's not really gossip. We just get like different angles from the same people sometimes.
Yeah.
So this year it was pretty cool. If you follow the show, you hear me nerd out about Tom Strom's work a lot. And he was there, so I got a chance to introduce myself and look at all of his creepy creations. I'm gonna have to walk away and put my dog outside.
Okay.
She reminds me of, have you ever seen a little movie called Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah.
She's like a little 626. Listen to those noises.
That's an alien.
Like she's not a terror, but she would lead you to believe that she is.
Yeah.
Let me run her outside.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to jump on to the next, I've got a few Jiminy Peak things in there. You can just scroll through.
Yeah, I'll pull a couple of these up.
Yeah. I got some thoughtful ones on my phone and
trying to get this video pulled up, almost there.
James Wisdom. That was his little area.
This is all James right here.
Yes, that was James's setup. He was painting these really cool, leafy, ornamental shapes all weekend. He started with that one little thumbnail that we see in the background, and then he started this other one. But it's really cool to watch his stuff develop with oils. I work in oils, but to watch him work, he works with a little bit more of almost like an alla prima kind of style where he's just like applying the ink and moving on. So it's a little bit different than like the way that I work in layers and I glaze and I glaze and I push and pull.
Right.
It's just like tattooing. I could watch somebody else tattoo for hours and hours and hours. I can also just sit and watch other painters. On the other side of me was Can Man, and I have followed Can Man's work for quite a while. He does this crazy trippy stuff, crazy landscapes. Like you could see like exactly why I'd be drawn to his kind of psychedelic work. And over the last like month or so between doing the High Lifestyle show with Gabe, Can Man was across the aisle from me, and then having him next to me at this event, he's just delightful. I love the way he talks to people and the way he talks to clients. I think he's got just a very ego-free way of communicating with people. Like if you have a question about his artwork, he is happy to just stop and answer your question and take the time to talk to you. He's just a working artist that seems like he's happy and grateful to be a working artist. And I love that. I love like, it's so easy to run into artists who complain about this, that, or the third every time you see them. But when you see somebody that's just like delightfully content and, they love making their art, they love selling it, they love not selling it, they love just creating. And then to see like how he interacts with people also is pretty cool. So I've always followed Can Man's work and always loved it, but to get to know him as a person a little bit is wonderful. I would definitely recommend collecting art from him or collecting a tattoo from him. He's just a treat to be around. This is Chris Dingwell. He's delightfully weird as well. he puts on the, what is the
Wet paint project. at
yeah,
Hell
Chris
City.
Dingwell's wet paint project. So on the lower level of Hell City, we have a whole second ballroom that is filled with tattooers, and then a portion of that is actually filled with this live painting, all kinds of painters. Down below is a painting by Amber Slick. She's an Ohio artist. I just happened to notice that was sitting in his booth. But this started almost as like a monochromatic painting at the beginning of the weekend. So you could see that he would go in and he'd like layer a layer of color throughout the whole thing. And then he'd come back, and with each layer, the pinks would become more intense. Where at the beginning, it was all just like a murky gray monochrome.
Very nice. This is more of Dingwell's, right?
Gotta go let my dog go back in. She's needy. This?
Sure. He's got all kinds of paintings there, but he's got some beautiful work. I've started a lot of it at Hell City. Very mind-bending work that he's got going on. He's got the whole table set up. Okay. Lots of craziness going on.
When you see his paintings and the way they unfold, it kind of makes you wonder what's going on in his mind for real. We've got one of his paintings, Chris Dingwell, we've got one of his paintings in the Red Tree lobby. And yeah,
we have one in the upstairs bathroom too.
Yep. But the one in the lobby, while Adam was working on my leg, that was like across at the old Red Tree location. It was right directly across from his booth. So I probably spent 60 hours staring at that painting anyways. And my interpretation of the painting has evolved over the years. I'd love to actually ask Chris what he was thinking when he painted it, just to be like, so did you have like Ralphie in the middle of a nightmare? Is that what that is? Ralphie
Which
from
one
A
of my
Christmas
five
Story?
ideas is correct here?
Yeah. At first, like I didn't really have any specific ideas, but this is Jackie Sandilands. Is that how you say her last name?
Sounds right. I'm not sure.
Anyways, this is Tom Strom's partner. She does these amazing, like super close up paintings of like tattoos and skin and hands, and like that beetle over there that looked like it was tattooed. And I was delightfully surprised to learn that she works in acrylics. I would have thought those were all oils.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
At one point, there was somebody that came through that was like, oh, I can't present in this room because I can't be around oil paints. And I was like, I think my kit's the only one that's oil right now. Like James's stuff was covered up, and like I had like a literal dip cap that I had a little bit of solvent in. So it's not like a real container. So we're talking like a container the size of a 50-cent piece that's half an inch deep. Like that's all the solvent goes out in the room. And he was like, I can't be around oil paints. And I was like, everybody in here is working with acrylic. And he was like, oh, it must be in my head then. So this time I think so.
No, I mean, it all looks like a lot of oil work going around.
Yeah.
So.
But it's just amazing what can be accomplished with acrylics.
Yeah.
Look at all those little greeting cards.
And there was tattooing going on this year. There was not 2 years ago when I was there.
Yeah, this is growing back into an actual convention as well as a learning event. But look at those two prints down there below. I have those originals at the studio.
I was gonna say, I've seen them. They're familiar.
We can jump up to another one. You keep hearing me talk to Dan. It's okay though. Oh, we got Nick Baxter over here. I think I only bothered him for just a moment.
Yeah, he's an intimidating though approach sometimes.
Nick,
Yeah. I think he just looks that way.
I think the way I broke the ice of like, looks great. I won't bother you.
Right.
I think that was the right way to make the right impression on him.
Yeah.
Like the whole
He
rest
like
of the
immediately
weekend.
understood what you were about.
Yeah, the whole rest of the weekend he didn't like hide like the
Mhm.
way he usually does. We were on a panel together and he seemed like comfortable.
Right.
Yeah. This is where Renee Little did her watercolor painting seminar this year up here by the little waterfall. You know what a sucker I am for reflective landscapes. You want to jump up to the next one? It really is more complicated than pushing a button, guys. There's a couple of steps each time we jump to something new. There we go. And we've had Renee on the show before, and we need to have her on again soon. She is a wonderful instructor. 2 years ago, when she first taught this seminar, there were a few times where like I'd ask her a stupid question, like a question that just might need the answer reiterated. This time she was so well prepared. She was so like
On the ball.
on the ball. They're like, I felt like she touched every little subject at least a little bit. And then at the end of her seminar, she went around and kind of like critiqued each person's drawings and gave them a little bit of feedback. And I thought that was just wonderful.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I listened to her give her eco-friendly seminar, Akron, right?
Okay.
Was it? Yeah. And she was really well put together then too.
She's got a new product that she has out called, is it the Solo Scribe? And it's a stainless steel pen, and like it's got two ends to it, and they're
Mhm.
shaped the same way that like glass pen nibs would be shaped with a spiral to them. One's more sharp, one's finer pointed, and one's more blunt. But it's a pretty cool idea. The idea of like just dipping this and using it over and over again instead of using a brand new Sharpie or 3 Sharpies each appointment,
Okay. Yeah,
so you
yeah.
could use it, sterilize it, use it again. So when she talks about like reusing and
Mhm.
reducing, like that's the ultimate way. I mean, how I keep a drawer of Sharpies at the shop, and how many of those they I they go right in the trash. I
Yeah.
use them one time and they go right in the trash. So I mean, I think of the cost. I just try to buy them when they're on sale to
Mhm.
where they average out to less than $1, and I'll stock up on 30 or 60 of them at a time.
Right.
But
Or like wholesale, just buy like 100 pack of a color.
yeah, that's $3 a day that I just throw away.
Yeah.
So because of the way it's milled and the high grade of material that it's used, it's not a cheap product, but that's what's going to make it last.
Right.
So
I didn't know it was like officially out. Like I heard a little bit that she was making a product, but I wasn't sure exactly what. So that's pretty cool to hear.
should I get it out? It's close by.
I mean, if you
Should I
have
get
it
it?
with you,
I'll get it out. Hold on.
that is pretty cool though, because that's I think that's kind of the next wave of tattoo inventions is like figuring out how to not necessarily like go back to being all reusable, but in a way that we can mitigate a lot of like the cost of just like products that we go through all the time.
Letting you guys know how squeaky my floors are. No sneaking around here. Gotten tangled. Gotta stop getting up, guys. I've gotten tangled.
I've gotten up too many times.
But here it is. The Solo Scribe. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So I think the deal she has, I think it's 200 for this and a few bottles of the ink that go with it.
Okay.
So do you want to check it out? I played with it for many hours already.
Okay.
But see how it like feels good in the hand. Like it's like it sounds weird to
it's
be
like very natural
yeah,
feeling.
she really considered the weight of it and like the amount of pressure that weight will then allow, like the weight of the pen applies the pressure. You don't have to press with it.
Yeah, it's not like overly heavy or
Yeah,
anything.
and
It
then
feels
you
like
can see how like
very
fine
perfectly
the one
weighted.
tip is and how blunt the other one is. So, and these stipple
Mhm.
really nicely, like if you're doing big bold lines with it, and then you want to stipple a little bit where the shading is and give it a smudge, that it's beautiful for that. So, um, there is a little bit of a learning curve on how to write with it, but like if you go from a marker to any standard nib, there's going to be a little bit of
Right.
a learning curve to
It's the
understand
same
the
when you
ink
switch
flow.
like any other
Yeah.
utensil too.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be honest, like the first time you pick it up and use it, it's not just gonna write the same way as a Sharpie. But
Mhm.
if you just play with it for about 2 minutes, you start to understand. Like I was just drawing on my hand right here, and it was like, that didn't mark the way I expected. And then like within, like I said, 2 or 3 minutes, I drew this cool little smiley face with curly hair, and like he was had freckles. And
Yeah.
so like it was like maybe the size of a 50-cent piece, but it ended up being like a detailed little cartoon. So I think I could definitely draw landscapes with it. I could definitely see if I were doing like Polynesian style stuff, or like the geometric stuff where you have the big sweeping forms that like separate one plane from another.
Mhm.
I could see this working really well for it because it lays the ink in. It like puts a lot of ink on there, so you don't have to
Okay.
worry about wiping it off. But because of like I said, that ergonomic fit, you can just curve with it, where I don't know. I'm not to say that like a Sharpie feels different, but like
Well, I think part of it too is like it's got the rounded edges on there, which helps a little bit, just kind of like
yeah,
feel a little more solid on you.
yeah, here's what it looks like. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked on it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
We'll have Renee on here soon, and we'll actually do like a legit segment, and like maybe Kyle and I will draw on each other. That could be fun.
That would be cool.
We both have bare arms, right? Well, that arm's
I've got
partially bare.
I've got like a good
Partially
enough
bare. Okay, I
amount.
got a bare arm. You got a bare arm.
Yeah. Time to draw
So
bears on arms.
bear. That's like a bare arm.
A bear arm.
Yeah, but I really love this idea. And one of the things I love about Renee is like she's putting all the time and money and energy and all the things into designing something that will cut back on our plastic waste. And it's not just plastic, you've got all the other chemicals that are in the marker as well.
Yeah. Well,
So,
especially like how many markers do you go through a session? Like 3 to 5?
I mean, maybe not every single session, but like the planning
Like
sessions
on
of each
average.
segment, at least three.
Right.
Like you can see the marks here. I always even have these little test patches where I make sure my colors look good together and aren't gonna like wipe off easy. So like that's three. And like you can see the test color there. So I was like, do I like that green or that green better? And you can tell that the more lime green held up better than the like minty green.
Right.
Things to learn, things to know, just like by like doing it over and over again. Like which markers stick to the skin best. Burgundy, green, dark green.
Dark green.
Yeah, those burgundy sticks really good. And there are some pink markers that like stick. Okay. So if you want to go like yellow to grid things out, you know how I'll do like my vertical and horizontal lines, and then I'll have my client get comfortable.
Yeah.
Um, I almost always do that in yellow, and then I just build off the next darker color. But if you go like yellow, light orange, hot pink, burgundy, that's not going to wipe off.
Gotcha.
So yeah, there's that. The green, the dark green, that doesn't want to wipe off ever. Like that looks like I just drew it 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's bad. That's very dark stuff.
Yeah. So this is the cool thing that Renee's working on. And what I was getting at is it's cool to see her like not only advocating for environmentally friendly practices, but she's actually like innovating and kind of like putting her money where her mouth is and trying to like come up with a new thing that we can sterilize and use over and over again, instead of just grabbing something that's not intended to even be a one-time use item and throwing it away. Markers like that are intended to be used
Yeah,
until
you're
they're
supposed to go through the
out.
whole thing.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be used for 2% of their lifespan and then thrown away. Like
Yeah.
that's not what that product was designed for. However, it's just become like the easiest way for us to freehand and get our, and the Sharpies aren't the only ones. There are all kinds of permanent markers.
Yeah,
that
but
work,
like all
that's like
said, the same
my
applies to
go-to.
all the other markers. Like
Yeah, if you
they're
prefer
meant
like
to
the
still be used and go through.
the more fine art type of brushes that have like the marker tips on them,
Mhm.
they're beautiful to draw on the skin with, but man, that gets expensive quick. You
Right.
know, like, and then you feel bad about throwing a quality art product out when everything in you is like, take care of your art stuff,
Yeah.
make it last. So anyways, I think this is really cool, and kudos to Renee for coming up with such a cool idea. So yeah, in the near future, maybe we'll have Renee on as a guest and we'll have an art night with the solo scribe.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I hope this goes far. It's a very cool product. I'd like to see it get used and brought into more hands.
I'm gonna make it to a pumpkin patch one day before work, so we have some pumpkins to tattoo before Halloween.
It's a good idea.
Did you see the group message?
I did.
I feel like if we had the, and I didn't want to get them before I went to Jiminy Peak because I thought that would be too soon and they might rot before Halloween.
Right.
But if I get them this coming week,
I don't know. I've seen them last for like multiple months prior.
yeah, but
Like
you know,
afterwards.
fruit flies,
True. True.
we want to press our luck. No fruit flies, no rotten pumpkins.
Very true.
You know, we should be not going too deep into the skin for them.
Yeah,
to
but
really
you know,
rot.
still
Like,
sitting around. They'll,
yeah.
Yeah, they'll attract something.
But yeah, I think that'll be fun. Even if I'm sure when that happens, we'll get a little bit of footage that'll be fun to share.
Yeah.
But if not,
set
we'll
up
at
a
least
camera.
take a walkthrough and get videos of what everybody does.
Mhm.
Do you think I should just like bring them in, or should I like put a pumpkin on everybody's station? And I'm thinking like yay big, like little pie pumpkins, nothing big and crazy. Should I just put them on everybody's station?
I was gonna say bring them in, but I do like the sound of that. I just feel like bringing them in and having a collective would be a little more successful at gathering people.
Yeah.
That being said, if I were to pick one, it would just be put them on with the little note that's just like, hey, show up this day this time.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, it could be something that we did one night after work. All of us just stayed late, but like it wouldn't necessarily have to be a thing. It could be done in our free time too. I think that could be fun. Is anybody else? Look, if you're watching this and you are a tattooer, is your shop doing anything cool for Halloween?
Are you guys tattooing pumpkins?
Yeah.
Should we start a hashtag for it?
I mean, we just had the Friday the 13th thing, and I feel like as tattooers, the Friday the 13th thing is kind of played out. We've all been doing it like every time.
Right.
Collectors, it's kind of a fun thing. Like, oh, it's Friday the 13th. Let's go get a tattoo.
Yeah.
I
did see at least like this year a lot of really cool designs getting pushed around during it. So I think that's cool at least.
I feel like Halloween starts to become that same cliche kind of kitschy feel for tattooers. So I wanted to do something fun, but I also don't want it to be a thorn in anybody's side because we're all busy and have stuff going on. But the pumpkin idea I just thought was cool, even if only some of us have a chance to do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry my dog's being so distracting, everybody. That's Lolo.
Well, she was doing great in the first half hour.
Well, she specifically wants my attention right now. So
Yeah.
if I locked her somewhere, she'd make more noise. It's crazy. She runs my life. Here she comes.
I she heard you talking.
Mm-hmm. She knows when I talk about her. Maybe she's trying to sucker another treat out of me.
So do you have more footage on your camera here for Jiminy Peak?
I do. Should I pull that up?
Yeah, let's pull some of that up.
Let's see what we got cooking.
What was your favorite seminar you peeked in on?
Like I said, I followed Renee up the mountain to and listened to all of hers. There we go. Just showing you the blue skies.
A lot of people showing up.
Yeah. I think there was probably over 100 people this year.
Nice.
So the event is growing and it seems to be like double last year.
Mhm.
We had a
Yeah, I was
whole,
gonna say it was probably only what, like 40 people max
well,
last time.
the year you came,
Mhm.
that was like the first event after COVID. too.
Right.
Like, so everybody was just getting back into the swing of traveling. Here's Mark.
Yeah, that was like the first like big travel trip I did after COVID.
Here's Killian Moon. He's working on this Brad coral reef scene. Check this piece out. This is, speaking of Renee Little, this is a bodysuit she's been working on. Isn't that crazy? All right, Renee. So here we are walking up the mountain to her seminar.
Killian and Guy are supposed to be doing a collab soon too, right?
They've done a few already.
I know,
So
I know. I saw them put out a post recently that they were looking for someone recently. So that'll be cool to see.
that's tempting.
Yeah.
I would definitely like Killian to be included in the list of artists that I would love to invite to work on my arm.
I know. I saw that. I was like, if I had the budget, I'm gonna hop on that.
So Renee does a wonderful job of bringing like supplies and materials for everybody. This is actually her whole seminar that I have here, and I feel like I did a really good job recording it with only one camera. There were only a few times where I almost fell off the picnic table and broke my ankle.
That's part of it.
And you
know?
can tell because the camera went,
Yeah, it fell with you. I feel like that's super helpful too in terms of like being able to properly teach a seminar is to have like
Yeah,
a little
so
travel
she
setup for
brings-
everyone. So that
so
way it's like all standardized and like a lot easier to kind of give the
she
instruction.
actually had like these little cardboard things, these little pieces of cardboard. And then she had the watercolor paper taped onto it. And then on the side, there was a little piece of like wax paper. So you could see as she walked around, there were those little dollops. So she had all of her watercolors and everything. So everybody had dollops of the same paint in the same tiny little kit. And she explained how easy it is to just like pre-make those, because then you'll see like as the wind blows, she kind of fights the wind with her sketchbook a little bit. Where if you have these cards, it's just wind's almost a non-factor because it's all like right there.
Right.
It's like
It's like
call,
small enough too that you're not fighting with it like through. It's just part of your hand there.
yeah, they call it guerrilla painting, like quick in, quick out,
Yeah.
like minimal materials, minimal footprint. Like you jump in, do the cover of night, paint your cityscape, and get out of there.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to that because like I just recently did I painted like a waterfall a couple weeks ago, but like that was like a whole bag setup that I needed to have. And then, I take like the 10-15 minutes to lay everything out, get everything ready. So I saw something small.
So it's tattooing in a fishbowl. So these guys basically just had a tattoo session right there where everybody could just come up and ask any questions and kind of get in close and watch their process. Here's Sandy McAndrew. You all know her from all the reinventing lessons, all the things. Sandy does a lot. This is a collab that Amy Nichols was working on, but I didn't see who she was working on it with. I was like coming and going doing things, so I couldn't help but share it, but I didn't get all the information on it. But I bet it's on Amy Nichols' page. I would imagine she probably shared it. We had copies of the Biomech Encyclopedia. There were also copies of Adrian Lee's book. Some old educational videos, like actual DVDs, like not videos, I suppose.
Yeah, no,
but
I'd
videos.
love to pick those up someday. Those would be
Jason
cool to have
Leeser's
down the road.
prints.
Yeah, he's got lovely prints. I got one on my wall.
It's so funny. There was a girl that took her seminar or took his seminar, and she was like, "Yeah, I just did Jason Leeser's printing seminar." And somebody was like, how was it? And she's like, I learned more about paper than there ever was to know about paper. Like, well, yeah, he is passionate about the paper part of it, but I totally see why.
Very passionate about the paper.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for cotton rag. It doesn't matter whether it's hot press or cold press, but I'm a cotton rag kind of girl. I like the tooth of it. I like the durability of it. I love the look of it. So, you know, when he gets excited and like, I always just kind of like get a little warm and fuzzy on the inside because it's all, I'm like, oh, you nerd. But when we used to work with charcoal, I got very into which papers I liked working with. And as it turns out, a lot of the same papers I like working with for charcoal or watercolor happen to be great printing mediums. So almost looks like a red tree, doesn't it?
Almost. Who's working on that one?
I can't remember his name. His wife gave me 2 massages.
Nice.
I scheduled the second one the next day and I was like, man, do I even really need it? She worked on me yesterday. That was pretty good. And Lauren, like, you know, mom mode. Like,
Gotta get it.
yeah, she's like, you got to drive all day. So you should probably relax. And I was like, all right.
Battery's running low there.
I didn't plug that in. I didn't know how late we would go. Hmm.
Well, you want to plug it in, or do you want to? Is there anything else to cover?
I mean, right now I'm showing off some of Nick Baxter's plein air paintings, but I mean, we could wrap up anytime. I kind of talked all about Jiminy Peak. We've got just more footage of me walking around with Sammy Lynn. She's from Texas, maybe Arlington, if I remember right. And my dog is going to be impatient with us.
Sounds like Lolo wants us to ride.
Well, now this is as good a time as any. We're almost through all of this footage anyhow, so I'll switch to this. All right. Well, what episode number was tonight?
147.
147. We're almost to 150. How'd that happen?
Patience.
Time. That's almost 3 years. That's crazy.
It's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time. All right. Well, tune in next week. Hopefully we'll have a guest for us. We'll definitely have a guest, but hopefully we'll be able to get Harley in. We'll have more to talk about from the Tattyverse. I've got all kinds of stuff, like worthwhile things that I would like to like dive down the rabbit hole sitting in our Instagram inbox. So maybe next week I'll see if maybe we can get one of the other reinventing content creators to join us. We're overdue to trade shows with a lot of people. So
That'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll pull like maybe Amy Nichols will be available. She wants to do a show again. That'd be a good one to jump down the Instagram rabbit holes with. But yeah, we're gonna start lining up some different guests back to back and start sharing a lot now that we're kind of getting back into the less traveling.
The slower season.
Yeah. I feel like usually I don't do this much traveling in the fall, but this year it's been a little heavy. But good. It's been pretty delightful. But I don't have any more trips like outside of pleasure trips coming up. So we should be able to get a lot more on the ball and have things lined up for the show.
Heck yeah.
Lolo keeps getting tangled in Kyle's cords. But anyways, we'll keep checking in on Kyle, the progress of his tattooing. If
for next week.
If people want to book with you, how can they get a hold of you?
On Instagram at Skies of Fire Tattoo. You can shoot me a message on there. I've also got a link on there directly to a booking form. So either of those work, but yeah, that's the best way to find me.
Sorry, my dog's breathing heavy. I feel very unprofessional. I didn't think she'd pester us this much.
That's okay.
It's all right. Well, Lolo's been our special guest this evening. I hope you enjoyed her shenanigans and getting tangled in our cords. But we'll see you next week.
Yes, indeed.
All right, everybody. Have a good week.
Thanks for joining.